Welcome, everybody, to One Stage at a Time, the podcast we're playing through video games one stage at a time, not skipping any level in a game, much to our chagrin for this game, because we are playing Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Game Gear, the 8-bit Sonic, the handheld 8-bit Sonic the Hedgehog, possibly one of the worst versions of Sonic the Hedgehog. We're debating that hotly here, but either way, this is the last episode we are taking on Dr. Robotnik for the final time in Sonic the Hedgehog. I am joined by my co-host, Andy Prim. Andy, hello.
Hello.
And we are joined once again by the rest of the Fellowship of the Rings.
Wow.
I don't know why I said that. I regret everything. Jared, hello.
Howdy.
And Ed, hello.
And my axe.
There it is.
There it is.
You can end it right there, folks.
Boys, we just defeated Robotnik for the last time in Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Game Gear. How are we feeling?
I'm glad it's over. That's all I got to say.
It's over. It's done.
You can rest now, Tony.
Ed, how about you? What are you feeling right now, having taken down Robotnik for the last time? What are you feeling in your heart of hearts?
I am also glad it's over. Sonic 2 is the better game. I don't even have to replay it to know that.
Sonic 2 is the better game?
Yes.
For the Sega Game Gear?
Yes.
Oh, man, that's an interesting take. I've played the first two zones of Sonic 2, and it was awful.
I can't imagine it being worse than this. I haven't played it in a long time, though. So maybe you're right, but I just can't see it.
I feel like, I think Ed's got a point here. It's kind of a hyper brain take, but I feel like it's kind of good and better, but also kind of bad and worse in some ways. Like the screen crunch is terrible, but the level design is interesting. There's like a lot of unique worlds compared to this game where like half the worlds are rehashes. So I think the stage design is more interesting and maybe more complex and more varied. And the boss design is interesting, although like they're kind of unplayable at times because of like the screen crunch and the controls. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's a mixed bag is what I'm trying to say.
Well, Jared, how are you feeling having defeated Dr. Robotnik?
It's a pretty unsatisfying ending. Like both this last level and the boss fight itself and what happens afterward, which I'm not really actually clear on like what, if anything, is supposed to have happened. But we'll get to that later, I guess.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to it. And we'll get to it. I don't want to say too much too soon.
There's not really any level here. There's nothing to spoil. It's all just this. So if that's what you guys want to talk about, let's talk about it.
Well, it's just a boss stage. So like every boss stage in this game, there's nothing going on here except the boss. And most of the boss stages even had like a short little platforming section leading up to the boss, just like a nominal platforming area. This one doesn't really have that. We're just going through the guts of the rigid airship sky-based zone with some pretty cool like mechanical tile sets in the background, I think, like blinking lights and shit like that. And then there's like a one-up monitor, and then we're right into the boss fight.
Now, Andy,
this is the Master System version.
You are playing for us, not the version that we played.
Yes, this is the Master System version. I wanted to show this to you guys. We'll see the Game Gear version soon enough, but yeah, in the Master System version, we can see Eggman's ultimate weapon, a wall.
It's Sonic's one true weakness.
I've bested you this time, Sonic, with a wall.
Yeah, okay, so it's this lightning wall that's like that sometimes is on, sometimes is off. It's going back and forth, and then there's an energy ball that shoots at you from above where Robotnik is. Much like in the Game Gear version, Robotnik is in the tube at the far end of the small area.
He's so happy about it. He really wants to be in there.
Yeah,
he loves a good tube. And Sonic's dodging this electric wall, and he's dodging those fireballs, and he's going in here. He's hitting Robotnik every couple seconds.
And that's it. I mean, it literally is Robotnik's just inside a glass wall going neener, neener, neener. And Sonic just hurls his body against it until it breaks. And then Robotnik once again demonstrates that he's faster than Sonic by running away and getting into a teleporter.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sonic follows him through the teleporter. And that's the end of the game. And then we get our lovely ending sequence here.
Sonic says, "Not today, fat man. I'm coming for you." There's no escape.
We'll get to the ending soon enough, but before we talk about that, let's take a look at the GameCube, or not GameCube. If only this was a GameCube game. We'll take a look at the Game Gear final boss.
Very similar, but also surprisingly different. Once again, Robotnik's in a tube on one side of the map, one side of the play area, and there's an energy ball that's shooting at you. But this one, there's no electric wall. There is just broken canisters of fuel underneath, I guess, that are just shooting up flame at you that you have to dodge and then hit him and then dodge and then hit him. No warning whatsoever or rhyme or reason as to where the flames are going to come up. And you can just pummel Robotnik.
Yeah, there's a pattern, but it's not.
But then you just pummel Robotnik over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Yeah, everything's really easy to dodge. Like, you don't really have to do too much.
Robotnik's jumping up and down on the little button that's activating the little the little energy attack.
I love that button, like narratively. He's got a big stupid grin on his face, and he's just jumping up and down on this button. He didn't have to design the button that way. It could have been a button like he just presses, like on a console, but instead he designed like a giant red, oversized cartoon button for him to jump up and down on.
He is nothing if not theatrical. He knows how to intimidate and how to have fun.
He's got showmanship.
He does. Absolutely.
That's why he was elected president, and that's why he's going to make South Island great again.
So we defeat him. You defeat Robotnik by pummeling his glass container and then frightening him away. And he tries to run, he tries to flee, and you chase him down and destroy him.
Yeah. So once again, I think I'm proved right here that Robotnik is actually innocent and the good guy in this game. He's already fled into his Zeppelin. Sonic's chased him there, completely fucked up his Zeppelin. Robotnik gets in his teleporter and transports himself back to Green Hill Zone and is just driving away when Sonic just like appears from midair, just warps into reality and just nails him and just blows up his little Eggmobile there. So no matter how hard Robotnik tries, he just can't get away from the blue menace, Sonic the Hedgehog.
It's such an abrupt transition too that like at first I was like, is this like time travel? Like, did we travel back in time and we're attacking Robotnik from the beginning of the game because we're back in Green Hill Zone? Or is this just like not very well executed narrative?
But it seemed like they both teleported back to the island. And Sonic just got there second.
I guess, but he's just happily trundling along in his little car, and like he doesn't seem like he's trying to do anything other than have a nice Sunday drive, I guess.
It was foolish of him. He shouldn't have gotten in his Eggmobile. He should have ran. We know how fast he is. If he was on foot, you would have gotten away scot-free.
Totally. Yeah.
That's true, yeah. The Eggmobile flies a lot slower than his walking speed. I like how his face turns red when the Eggmobile is damaged.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And his mustache inexplicably turns black.
Yeah, and like points up.
Yeah.
It's like in a Looney Tunes cartoon when Yosemite Sam would accidentally shoot himself with his own gun. Yeah.
The boss fight itself was like, I was surprised that it was over. I thought there was going to be a second stage just because it was so easy. And I felt like I didn't really even have to do anything.
Yeah. In the I totally agree, Jared. And I wanted to ask you this, Ed, since you've played definitely more Sonic games than me, and possibly every Sonic game. In the like annals of Sonic history, has there ever been a final boss fight more simple or more underwhelming than this one? Because I mean, in Sonic 1, you got the Crushers in Final Zone. Sonic 2, you got the Death Egg robot. Sonic 3, you got that like tall tower kind of thing. Oh no, it's the hands. Yeah, no, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's right. Well, 3's, yeah.
3 is the hands if you played only Sonic 3. If you played Sonic 3 and Knuckles, then it's the tower thing, and it goes to Mushroom Hill Zone after that.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Like I would say possibly, like definitely not, but the only one that comes close is Sonic 1 for the Genesis. Because like you get there and it's just Dr. Robotnik inside of the Crushers for some reason. And he's inside.
Yeah.
I get you now, Sonic. Boom, boom. Slam himself around in there.
Yeah.
And it always
again,
struck me as such a
pure theatrics.
Yeah, it always struck me as such a strange final boss, like him inside there.
He's doing it not because he has to, but because he thinks it's cool.
The only way he can get off is inside of one of those tubes.
Oh God! Finally,
Look at me, Sonic. I'm inside the tube.
Oh no! Don't jump into my tube and shake it all around.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that you're probably right that this is most likely the most underwhelming and just disappointing final boss in any Sonic game that I could think of.
This is the easiest for sure. I think I was more disappointed by the one in Sonic Generations though.
Okay. Let's see. Sonic Generations, is it? I don't even remember what the final boss of Sonic Generations is.
You were that disappointed.
Fly through space or something. It's kind of dumb.
Sounds like a typical Sonic, like a new, like the current era of Sonic. Yeah. Most of the final bosses are like you're flying through space. It's supersonic.
Now that you mention it, that Sonic Adventure 2, that was a really disappointing final boss.
Oh, yeah, it was. That one was worse. Yeah, that one.
I don't know if it's worse, but I was definitely like, this sucks. I'm Super Sonic and Super Shadow, and this sucks.
That one is more underwhelming to me because they build up this awesome, badass, like, villain the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
The ultimate life form. And then it's just this like dinosaur-looking thing strapped to a spaceship that doesn't move. Like
it shoves the spaceship up its own ass. Yeah. It attacks you.
I don't know. That sounds pretty great to me.
It's very confusing.
The ultimate life form. And isn't Shadow supposed to be the ultimate life form? So it's like, how did they go from like this dinosaur thing to Shadow?
Maybe it was an Akira situation. Like,
oh yeah,
like that was just like that was. It used to look like the crocodile. What's his face? Vector or whatever. But then they kept experimenting on it and got all this power to him.
Vector is like Tetsuo from Akira.
Exactly.
Espio's like, Vector! Espio! Vector! Espio!
Exactly. Then Sonic and Shadow have to put him out of his misery.
They shoot him with the soul cannon from outer space.
Yep.
Damn, I want to watch that movie.
Let's make the fan film, man. Let's do it.
Okay.
I've been working on my Sonic animations. It'll be great.
That's true, yeah. Aaron sent us a Sonic animation the other day, folks, and it was something.
Was that the snowman one?
I don't remember. I'm gonna level with you, brother. I don't remember.
My kid, I did one little doodle, and my kid was like, "I want to see Sonic as a snowman, bouncing around all crazy." So I made Sonic as a snowman bouncing around.
You're a good father.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah. Next, I'm gonna make Vector Tetsuo.
Show it to your daughter. She's gonna be like, "What the fuck is this, Daddy?"
Maybe, yep.
You're gonna give your kid
It's
nightmares.
art. It's the ultimate life form.
I wish you were the ultimate life form.
This was supposed to be you.
Oh man, your kid's gonna need therapy.
Oh, she already does. Poor thing.
It's okay. We could all use a little therapy.
Mm-hmm. Ain't the truth. Especially after playing this game.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, what ideas, if you're Robotnik in this situation, what ideas would have been better than like standing in a glass tube and like daring Sonic to hit you? Like, he could have released poison gas, electrified the entire room, a trap door, or even just simply shot Sonic with a gun.
Or any sort of barrier besides flimsy glass.
Yeah. Although I do have to say, I did not like this boss until you brought up the little button, the big button he has to jump on. That makes me love this boss.
Yeah.
It's pretty on brand for Robotnik to be doing stuff like this.
Yeah. It really, it reinforces the theory that Robotnik, like, he doesn't really plan things out. He just does whatever he thinks is going to be fun or cool. Like in the Sonic OVA, all of his ideas were completely batshit and made no sense. Like masquerade as Robotnik to lure Sonic into Robotropolis just so that you can copy his data and create Metal Sonic, who will then go apeshit and try to destroy the planet upon which you live. Great plan, Robotnik.
I don't see the flaw there, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't see the plan there.
Yeah, and the whole time he's trying to marry the possibly underage daughter of the president.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We don't need to rehash the Sonic OVA. But yes, I agree. Robotnik is an irrational. He's pure id. Pure id.
Yeah,
that's right. He just does what he thinks will be fun at the moment. He wants to build cool robots, and that's it. That's all he wants to do. Sonic's just fucking fun police over here.
In the IDW comics, that actually is like a plot element. There's at the beginning of those comics, Robotnik's lost his memory and become Dr. Tinker or Mr. Tinker, and he's like a benevolent guy that like makes toys for kids. And they decide to just leave him as he is because he's like good now. But then this, I think it's a platypus called Dr. Starline, who's like Robotnik's #1 fan and also like a mad genius, like tracks him down and like messes with his brain to give him his memories back, and then becomes like his #1 lackey. And he keeps coming up with ideas to like, we'll like assassinate Sonic, and Robotnik's just like, no, we're not going to do that. That's too easy. We have to come up with like this really stupid, convoluted plan. And eventually Dr. Starline is just like so frustrated with Eggman and just can't take it anymore because he's like his own worst enemy.
Yeah, the Robotnik is very much so like a Joker to Sonic's Batman. He needs him. Without him, life isn't worth living. Sometimes, other times he's just a sadistic monster. But
yeah,
I think he comes out more like Dr. Evil, and though the henchman you just described comes out more like Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's right there, so shoot him in the head. No, I'm going to steal his DNA and put it into this robot here, and then they're going to fight.
Yeah, dude, that's so true. He had Sonic at his mercy so many times.
Mm-hmm. In one of those tubes. I bet he liked that.
Tubes, baby.
He loved him in that tube.
I love tubes, Sonic. It's the only way I can shoot. I apologize for that one.
I loved it. That made my day.
Yeah, don't apologize for that.
Okay, well, the ending here, there's actually 2 endings. There's a good ending and not a bad ending, but just not the good ending, I guess. It depends on whether you got all the Chaos Emeralds or not. The only difference, you still chase down Eggman and bop him on the head during his leisurely drive. The only difference is that if you get all 6 Chaos Emeralds, there's a little scene where they all kind of like fly up in the air and spread out, and we get a zoomed out view of South Island, and all of the smog that's been coming out of Eggman's factory, it disappears. So Sonic has shut down the factory, eliminating thousands of good-paying jobs on South Island, and cleared out the smog once and for all.
And in the other version, it's still there.
Yeah, in the other version, it's just still there. That's the only difference.
I mean, I guess that's something. That's a decent reward.
Yeah,
for having
nothing.
Yeah, for having tracked him down. It's all right. I mean, like, you constantly have to keep it in mind that this was a handheld game from the early '90s. Like, this was a contemporary of those Tiger Electronics. like this is awesome. What an awesome thing to have 2 different endings in your colored handheld game. Like, it's kind of impressive. Like, sure, it sucks based on our handhelds now in the far off distant future of 2020 are full blown games, worlds within worlds with amazing graphics on my Nintendo Switch. That's kind of cool. Like, that's kind of cool right there, what they did.
Yeah, you make a good point. They took the time to put a second ending in there. Super Mario Land for the Game Boy didn't have a second ending, and I don't think Super Mario Land 2, also for the Game Boy, I don't think that had a second ending either. So take that, Mario.
That's not true. If you collected all 6 of the golden coins, you opened up the castle. It was possible to not collect all 6 of the golden coins.
Isn't that just called not finishing the game?
I guess. You can finish the game without doing that, I think. It's been a long time since I played that, but I might be remembering wrong.
I'm not sure either, to be honest. Although I do remember that in Mario Land 3, Wario Land, there were several endings depending on how many of the treasures you collected. Yeah. That is a good game right there. Why aren't we playing really that game?
All right.
I'd play that. I love that game.
Dude, me too. Yeah, just thinking about that, I'm getting happy. It's like when Sonic cleared away the smog. That's what I'm feeling right now. Just thinking about a better game.
The prospect of Wario Land is making your little cup overfloweth with joy.
What I want to know is, in this credit sequence, is Sonic singing the credits? Like, is he like breaking the fourth wall right now? Is that what's going on?
That's a good question. Yeah, because we've got like this little animation of Sonic like tapping his foot and like holding him like a bright red microphone and like waving his little finger occasionally, like as the credits roll.
I don't remember what music is playing. What is it?
It's just a theme, just the Sonic theme.
So he's just going.
Have you heard the Sonic theme?
Well, let's talk about the credits a little bit. There's only like 6 named people in the credits here.
Yeah, I noticed that.
We've got the programmer.
There's some typos too.
Yeah. We've got the programmer Shinobu Pinbot Hayashi. I love, in the old days, they used to do a lot of these aliases. I think we've talked about this before on a previous series, but I've heard conflicting things. One is that in Japan, it was considered like dishonorable or like not something you wanted to talk about if you had like worked on making a video game. So you might use an alias so people didn't know that that's what your job was. Or it could be that the talent was like sought after. So if they put their real names in, someone might try to like poach them from a rival company. I've heard both. I'm not sure which one it is.
But they do have their real names here though, right? Like they just have the nicknames shoved in the middle of it.
Yeah, some do. In certain games, like especially like Mega Man was notorious for this. They all had aliases that like made no sense. And in a lot of the early Nintendo games, there's no credits at all. But in this game, we do get some full names. Graphic designer, there's 2 of them, but one I wanted to point out, Ayano Koshiro, that's the sister of Yuzo Koshiro, the guy that he was this music composer for this game, but also kind of the director. There's no credited director, but he started the company that made this game. So it was kind of his project.
Okay. Yeah. We've talked about him before.
Yeah.
So I wanted to back to the name thing. Not 100% sure on this, but I think it had to do, obviously not in this game, but in older games, you only had so much space for characters. Because you can get more from Japanese characters, so they assumed you only needed 5 spaces.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought.
I believe
Or you
that.
only had like 4 letters in like RPGs back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Final Fantasy 1, your names could only be like 4 characters long. That's an excellent point, Ed.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. It's funny that you mentioned like poaching people, because I just watched the first episode of High Score, and part of that is like one of the founders of Atari is talking about how he would like lure people over to his company by being like, wear whatever you want, just you come in and work whenever you want to, just get your work done, it's fine. And I'm looking forward to more of that show. It's in the Netflix show, and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, shout outs to that documentary. It's good to see video games being treated with the historical rigor that they deserve. And I think that probably they were inspired by our program and the historical accuracy that we strive for on this show.
Undoubtedly. We're gonna sue, actually.
Great.
Get some of that Netflix money.
I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, pretty short credits here. Like I said, Yuzo Koshiro is more or less the director, although there's no credited director on this game. I think he's probably more responsible than anybody else. Yuzo Koshiro also, hey Max
the dog is making a cameo appearance. Hello, Max. Who's a good boy?
The good boy.
Who's a good boy?
Oh man, my spirits are brightened already. I was going to say Yuzo Koshiro. We've said this before, but he's a prolific composer. He's worked on tons and tons of games. Probably most notably the Streets of Rage series. His music for that series is considered groundbreaking. And recently, he worked on Streets of Rage 4, which has been critically acclaimed. He's not the only composer. I think they got like a huge cast of people to work on that, but he did come back to work on that. So. Salute to Yuzo Koshiro. You really did it, man. Maybe not with this game, but with your music and other projects you've worked on, you really did it.
I'm just gonna say, so this game is not something that I particularly had a great time with, especially towards the end. It seemed like it really faltered. But I'm not going to say that this was a bad game. Like, it wasn't a bad game, especially for a handheld game from the early 90s. This was, I mean, there were some parts that were actually quite enjoyable for me. It had slow points, it had high points. I think that this game, especially as a product of its time, is pretty commendable, pretty good.
Well, speaking of low points and high points, let's do some superlatives here. This is one stage at a time, and being that this is the final episode of this series, I thought we should take a moment and rate what our favorite and least favorite stages in the game are. So, Aaron, would you like to do the honors and start us off here?
Sure. Let's go favorite to start off with. Probably Jungle Zone.
Interesting.
That one sticks out in my mind quite a bit. I really liked that at some points, like the platforming was challenging and fun. At some points, you got some good speed going, and I really liked how in the second act you got some good verticality in there. That's pretty rare in a Sonic game that there's good verticality, and it did it, and I think that was awesome. Low point will probably be Labyrinth Zone.
Yeah.
Labyrinth Zone sucked. Say it. Just gonna say it. Labyrinth Zone sucked. Did not have a bit of fun in Labyrinth Zone.
All right, Ed, your thoughts? High point, low point.
So for me, the high point I think was Bridge Zone. That Bridge Zone was probably my favorite one.
It's a good one.
Least favorite, Scrap Brain. I think.
Why didn't you like the Scrap Brain?
No good.
No,
it's not good. It's barely a level.
It had a whole it had a whole maze. No.
What more do you need to say? All right, Jared, what was your favorite and least favorite?
My favorite zone was also Jungle Zone. And similar comments. The verticality in Act 2 is really unique for a Sonic game. I think it was really well executed. Low point for me was Skybase Zone. Basically, just because it doesn't pay off the rest of the game at all. And despite the new information that there is an alternate way around that stupid bomb in Act 2, I just don't think the design really reinforces the rest of the game very well. Yeah, just the payoff and the boss fights is like even worse than the rest of the boss fights in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's my low point.
And what you're up, Andy? What about you?
Oh, it's my turn. I'm gonna favorite Bridge Zone. I think I'm gonna concur with Ed on that one. Although Jungle Zone, I considered it. I also like the verticality that you guys mentioned. Very unique. It works somehow. Even though like a totally vertical Sonic stage probably shouldn't work. For this game and this set of physics, it does. But Bridge Zone, it just really stands out for me. It's just fun. It's bright. It's happy. I like the rolling logs on the water mechanic. I like the auto scroller is another one that like shouldn't work but does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also that track is such a banger. The Bridge Zone track just total earworm, gets in your head, very hummable. And I love that Sega keeps bringing it back to be Tails' theme song. Least favorite, I got to go with the Labyrinth Zone. Yeah, that one just so like Skybase is harder, I would say, like, but at least it has like an interesting aesthetic, and the Act 1 and 2 are so different. You go from like that skyhook gantry to like actually on the Zeppelin, so there's some narrative stuff going on there.
Mm-hmm.
So I give it a little bit of credit for that. Scrap Brain, I agree with Ed. It's just frustrating. The maze is stupid and frustrating, and just you just want to be done, and it just keeps going. However, Labyrinth Zone is just boring. It's just such like it just nothing is added to the game by it being here, and it also stands in such stark contrast to the Genesis version. And I know Scrap Brain has that also, but at least Scrap Brain Zone, like the Act 1 and 2 are different from each other. There's some interesting like pitfalls and challenges there, even though it's very frustrating. There's a maze, which we don't see those in Sonic games usually. So it's like, okay, I guess they get credits for creativity. But Labyrinth Zone is just boring and unoriginal. And Act 1 and 2, there's no differentiation. It just sucks, folks. What more can you say? It just sucks.
When it sucks, and it just sucks.
So it sounds like the consensus is that like the first 2/3 of this game are pretty good, and the last third just falls flat on its face.
I think it's right in the right split down the middle. The first
Yeah, I guess you're right.
The first three are we seem to enjoy, and the last three we have pretty negative feelings about. Really, all of them. Like I think I enjoyed Scrap Brain, but Labyrinth and Skybase I didn't really enjoy at all. And Scrap Brain got ruined for me when you reminded me how good Genesis's Scrap Brain is.
Yep.
That's why I hate Scrap Brain in this one so much.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, that and Labyrinth both suffer from that, and not only that, but like the music is so inferior to the Genesis version.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, this whole entire game was really an inferior version to the Genesis. What are you gonna do? But it was. I enjoyed our journey through it, gentlemen. I thought I had a good time talking this game with you, and I'm gonna definitely miss talking about it and talking about Sonic lore and that fucking insanity. The game itself is kind of a low point in the podcast as far as like enjoyment of the game wise, but talking that crazy batshit has been a high point for me for One Stage at a Time's history.
We did have some.
No, we don't need to talk about that, but yeah, that too.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm eagerly anticipating the release of the Lara Sue Chronicles.
I'm going to buy it when it comes out. I know that.
I think Ken
Contenders.
Penders is like perpetrating like a Star Citizen level grift where he's just like getting people to donate to something that's never going to come out.
God, I hope so.
At least
Anybody who does deserves it. They deserve to be grifted if they see that and they're like, I want to give my money to this.
I was watching a streamer play Fall Guys the other day, and he was getting pissed, and he was like, "You should get a gun with one shot in Fall Guys. You should just be able to shoot one other character."
That game looks fun as hell.
Yeah, it does.
I'm annoyed that it's not on the Switch, but it probably costs like $60 if it was on the Switch.
I bet it'll make it there eventually. It seems like a pretty good fit.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know. Switch is, I mean, like their online
Yeah, I was gonna say.
scene is shit from what I can tell.
It's all right. Speaking of Switch Online, they just came out with that new Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. 3 out of 10 on IGN, folks. It's, keep that in mind. IGN gave it a 3 out of 10. But don't let that stop you from enjoying a game that's actually pretty good. There's a free version of it, so I got the full version, but I played with Sam last night. It's surprisingly a lot of fun. So if you fellows want to get the free version of it, you can play with us.
Up to 4 players?
Up to 4 players.
Nice. I remember, like, I was reading about it a little bit and how, like, back in the day, you needed the GameCube with the game, and then you also needed, like, a Game Boy Advance with a link cable for every person who wanted to play or something like that.
Correct.
Which is just insane to me.
Yeah. And so this one's different in the sense that, like, in that old version, you would all create characters on the same save file. So all of your characters would be in the same hometown, and you would kind of like progress like the same instance of the story together. But since this one's online, every player has their own individual world and story that they're playing through. So if you do a dungeon together, you're just doing it for that person's instance. And it's kind of like Dark Souls, where you then have to go through and join everyone's game if they want to advance through their story, which I don't think is a big deal.
Well, do you
it's fun to replay the levels, and you get rewards for doing it.
I was going to say, do you get things if you're a guest on somebody's playthrough?
Yeah, you get loot and permanent upgrades to your stats.
Okay.
So it's worth doing, but
it's like grinding.
People are filling their diapers over it on Twitter. I've been harassing that IGN writer who gave it a 3 out of 10.
Did he give it 3 out of 10 like recently, or is that the one from back in 2004?
No, in 2004 they gave it a 7.6.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Wow.
What are the reasons for the 3?
He said that he felt that there were long load times, which I don't think is a problem. He said it was like dated, which, yeah, it's 17 years old, man. What are you expecting? And he said that he didn't like the online experience because he tried it once pre-release. He tried it one time and got a disconnect and didn't try it ever again. Didn't even pair up with like a full party of 4 people, which it's a multiplayer game. Like, you can play it single player and it's okay, but you're supposed to play it with multiplayer. He didn't even do that. And I was like, I don't like it. 3 out of 10. Didn't even comment on the music, which is fantastic, or the art, which is fantastic. Truly one of the most doo-doo brain pieces of writing I've ever seen come out of a website, which is known for doo-doo brain writing.
I was going to say, it's IGN. I don't know what you expect.
No, I'm just saying, man, they gave like the Fast and the Furious video game. They gave Sonic 06 a higher rating than Crystal Chronicles.
I can't comment on either one. Haven't played either, so.
Sonic 06 is terrible. So that's pretty
All Sonic is terrible.
This game has ruined Sonic entirely for you.
No, not all Sonic is terrible, but the Sonic Adventures and Sonic 06 and like all 3D Sonics they're very problematic. I know it's beating a dead horse at this point, but they just have never been really very good. You're always clipping through walls and missing jumps. You're like, oh, this is an easy jump. And then the game's like, nope, you're going right. And it's like, fucking God.
Well, I think we can all agree that Sonic and the Secret Rings is a perfect 10 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
I actually really enjoyed that game.
It's a pretty fun game.
It's got its problems, but I actually like that one.
Dino, it's a jungle.
Oh, God. That's right.
Yeah, yeah, the music in that game is ridiculous.
Make
Okay.
believable.
Make me. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. All right, let's put this one to bed, folks.
Put it to bed.
Ed, would you recommend Sonic for the Game Gear / Master System?
No, I would not.
Jared, what about you? Would you recommend this game?
If you love every other Sonic game you've ever played and you're curious, then sure. But if you just like video games, like this isn't a good one to play.
If you like video games, this is not a good one.
Like it's not in the context of the time it was released and in the context of other Sonic games at like around the same time, it's fine. And it's short. So like you're not wasting a ton of time, but I think you are wasting time. There are other better Sonic games that you could be playing.
Yes, very true. Aaron, would you recommend this game?
If you liked every other Sonic game, then you have very low standards and you probably will enjoy this game. But for everybody else out there, I would say no, go ahead and skip this one. It's easy to skip because it's hard to find. You really got to go out of your way to get it. So, yeah, just go ahead and carry on.
Play the Genesis game.
Yeah, play the Genesis game. It's got much better versions of most of these levels, and it's actually quite good. Andy, what about you?
I'm with you guys. It's not a recommend. I mean, it's like if you were a kid in 1991 and you were looking for a game to play for your Game Gear and your parents had a lot of disposable income, then yeah, maybe pick this one up. You know, you could probably do worse in the context of the time it came out in, like Jared was saying. But today, probably not a recommend. There's so many better things you could be playing. If you wanted to play it just for funsies, I think the Master System version is the way to go if you can get a hold of it. Better resolution, just all in, you know, maybe there's other ways like graphically and in terms of processing power that the Game Gear version's better, but I think the resolution alone makes the Master System version the one you want to pick up there. But it's actually fairly hard to find. So unless you want to dabble in piracy, which we do not endorse on this show, you may have some difficulties obtaining the Master System version.
I'd agree that if you're going to subject yourself to this game, probably go to the Master System version.
Okay. Well, folks, that brings us to the end of another One Stage at a Time series. But the show continues. We are continuing on with our main series on Doom from 1993, which is actually a good game. And we're having a lot of fun with it. So please check that one out. We probably won't do another side quest series for a little while because this one really took it out of us. Even though it's a game that's only has 6 stages or worlds in it, nevertheless, it was brutal. So we're gonna probably leave that leave that in the past for now. But maybe we'll do other side quests in the future. Who knows? But please tune in for Doom. It's a lot of fun, and I think you'll enjoy it. Ed, Jared, you've joined us for basically every episode of this series. So thank you for subjecting yourselves to this game and all of the just beautiful lore of the Sonic series.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, guys. This has been a lot of fun.
I assume my check is in the mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thanks to DeJoy, it'll be there in like 8 months.
Yep. Keep waiting on that check.
Oh, I will.
All right. Aaron, what do you want to say to the folks at home before we sign off today?
I want to say thank you, everybody, for listening. Please go to onestageatatime.com for more of our episodes and other fun things like our socials. We post some spicy memes on our Instagram, so check that out and give us a follow, give us a like, give us a share. We really appreciate it. Thank you for being here and listening. And Ed, as the Sonic expert, the Sonic aficionado, the man with the red shoes and no pants, why don't you go ahead and give us that final sign off?
Save and continue.